What's going on, everybody? This is Jerome Moore, host and creator of Deep Dish Conversations. And firstly, I want to say thank you for all love and support, and thank you for exploring the perspectives of social change with me on this platform. I want to encourage you all to like, subscribe, and follow us on YouTube and on your favorite podcast listen platform. And make sure you give us a 5-star rating if you're loving the Deep Dish Conversations. I appreciate all of the support again. I hope you all enjoy this episode. What's going on, everybody? This is your favorite host, Jerome Moore of Deep Dish Conversations, and we have an amazing guest today. I know I always say we got an amazing guest, but today this is a historical guest that we have. We have Councilwoman Sandra, and I'll make sure I get this right, Sandra. I want to get the Latino accent down. Sepulveda?
Yes, Sepulveda.
Sepulveda. Yeah. Sandra Sepulveda. And we were just talking like off the camera, like how my Spanish could be a lot better since I've lived in like Costa Rica and Paraguay for a number of years. And so I'm going to work on that. And you should too. What's going on, Sandra? How you doing?
I'm making it. Thank you for inviting me.
Look, if you all don't know, our council members are very busy here in Nashville at this time of year. So I am, it's my pleasure to have you, and I'm glad that you was able to make the time to be a part of this, just talk a little bit, eat some great pizza.
Yeah, I'm excited about the pizza.
Yes, everybody's always, I don't even know if it's me. Maybe it's just the pizza that people are coming to just really eat, and I'm just kind of like, like one of those, like a bargaining tool, just something that comes along with the pizza. Exactly. And so, Sandra, I want to go into your story just a little bit, but I know people could Google you and figure out all like the stuff. But when I introduce you, you are history, right? You are the first, and I want to clarify this too. As a Latina, is it proper to say Latinx, Latina, Hispanic? I want to clear that because I think, identity politics is like a big thing right now. Mm-hmm. And, living outside the country in Latino places, like I've never heard the word Latinx since I came back to the United States.
Yeah. It's a newish thing, right?
Okay.
With the new generation and wanting to be a little bit more inclusive. Many people have started using the term Latinx. I guess it just depends on how that person identifies. Okay. I go by Latina, Latinx, Hispanic, right. Mexican American, Chicana. Like Chicana, I have it all.
Right. Okay. And so, because when I came back, it was like people are using these like pronouns, he, she, like, and so I'm confused. I'm like, this is new to me in these circles, and when you're in these new like progressive things, like people are going around and I'm like pronouns. I'm like I'm Jerome. I'm a man. I don't. I'm not. I can't even remember like him. Like so, everybody's going in like in circles and identifying this. I'm like, this is different. I'm like, what? Yeah, and everybody is saying different things. So I'm like, I'm Jerome, and I'm kind of new to this, so sorry, I don't mean to be offensive, but I'm a man. I don't know how deep, and then somebody explained it to me. Mm-hmm. But one of the other things, like, I was like, well, Latinx, and like, is it offensive to say Latino if it's a group of people? But people's like, well, because of the masculine feminine thing, which is just a part of the Spanish language, it's like, well, if you say Latinx, it's more neutral, inclusive for everybody, specifically women, right? Yeah. And so I was like, okay, I get it, all right? And so, that's a learning lesson that I had to go through, and I'm not afraid to admit it, and you shouldn't too, and thank you, Sandra, for educating us on that. Yeah. But back to what I was saying, you're the first Latinx, Latina, specifically, woman to sit on the council in Nashville. You're the first of your family, of parents of immigrants, to go to college. So you're just a like history in the making right here, and I want people to appreciate that and know that. So amongst all these firsts, like how does that like make you feel? Just knowing that, like
it depends on the day, really. It's cool when I sit down and like have time to think about it. I guess I don't realize sometimes what that means. experience.
Right.
Being the first Latina woman elected to council. I'm the youngest person sitting on council. I'm the first one in my family to graduate from college.
Right.
You know, I'm a first generation American. It's a lot of first, and it's only when I start talking to other people that look and sound like me that I realize, oh, this is
abnormal.
This is a little, you know,
Right.
I'm becoming, for better or for worse, the example for a lot of people.
Right.
And so I have younger people saying, "Oh, I want to do this one day," or
Right.
I'm so excited to finally have someone that looks and sounds like
Right.
me in politics, and you know, it's a lot of pressure
Right,
sometimes.
right. I bet, because being the first, you know, in that type of way, it's like you have to kind of figure it out, right?
Yeah.
It's like you didn't have really any examples or anybody to give you the guidance. It's like
I did have Fabian Bendy, who was the first Hispanic man
Right.
elected to council. It's a little different.
Right.
We have similar paths that
Right.
that we have taken. It's just being a brown young woman is a
Right.
whole nother level.
being a
added to
woman
it.
is a whole nother that I can't understand, right? But it's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting about your story, when I think about it, when you talk about the first, many black and brown people are the first in to do a lot of things just because of how we're just discriminated against, marginalized in many ways, and just the struggles, that the barriers that our parents has to go through, whether being enslaved or immigrating into the country and not being looked at as, you know, equals, right? And so being the first is just like that, just what comes with when you're coming from that kind of background, from a heritage standpoint. You're gonna be the first of many, and it's gonna be a lot of pressure. And I was looking at an interview, you mentioned, like, you know, in the Latino just family structure, you know, like your parents want you to do kind of like better than them, right? Or like just, you know, progress it. And you was like, you know, you hope that you know you made your parents proud in doing that. How are your parents feeling about you now?
Yeah, I mean, it is, you know, with immigrant households, you're supposed to build on your parents' success, so the next generation
Right.
has it a little bit easier than you. So my parents immigrated here when they were 15, 16. They only made it through 4th grade.
Wow.
And so, you know, they couldn't sit down at the table and help me with homework or anything like that.
Right.
So I don't think they ever thought that it would end up here.
Right.
Because when I was in college and I was studying this, I always told them, I'm never going to go to law school and I'm never going to run for office. And
you lied.
And I'm meeting my words. And, you know, I didn't find out until a couple of weeks ago when I was sitting down with my sister that my dad cried on election night.
Wow.
It's just... I think it's like this in different households, in different cultures as well. Like you, especially in the Hispanic culture, like you keep all your emotions and you know, all of that bottled up. So I didn't even know that had happened. So I hope that they're proud of me, and I hope that I'm doing right by them. I've never had that type of conversation with them.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, and I think, you know, representation is important, right? And that's why I personally, I chase you down because I really wanted you to be a part of this, because I think it's, you know, you mentioned something as far as like, you know, not really realizing how like big of a deal all the things you've done coming from, you know, your family background, from your parents being immigrants, and then to where you are now. I think, you know, we don't congratulate ourselves enough, right? Because, you know, we can't expect people to give us our flowers, you know, even though people and so we have to be more intentional about giving our flowers to ourselves, right? And congratulating ourselves, you know, probably a lot more about like these big feats that we have, and we probably don't realize it until, like you said, we're talking to somebody. Then we sit back like, man, that is kind of amazing. But most of us are humble, so we're not going around and bragging about it, right? We let everybody else do that. So I wanted to personally, make sure on camera that I congratulate you and let everybody know that's watching it, and maybe a young Latino or young Latina, boy or girl, that you can do it too. And like, you have a perfect example right here in front of you. And so like, just bravo, just, if it was an audience in here, like I would just tell everybody to start clapping, because I think it's a really big deal that Nashville has somebody like you, on the council and having that representation. And like, you was raised here, like you was born, essentially you moved when you was 5, right?
Yes.
So born and raised here, right? And so in District 30, the district that you serve. And so let's talk about it. Let's talk about how like District 30 is now compared to, kind of how you grew up in District 30.
Yeah, so we moved here in the late 90s, and I started kindergarten in the elementary school that's in my district. And the population of Hispanic households was growing. Right. So now it looks so much more different. Right. We were always a pretty diverse part of town, but now it's just boomed. It's interesting. I think this was the scariest thing I've ever done. Rejection is not a big thing for me, so I never put myself out there. I was so afraid, because these people were my neighbors, right. And I have been there for a little over 20 years, and I'm like, what if they don't want me? Right. My whole goal with running was making sure that, we had better schools, more money for schools, that we had better infrastructure, that, the simple things like sidewalks and libraries and parks and all of that could be taken care of, because it has been a very forgotten part of town. Right. And so that's still my goal. I'm a year in.
Only a year? Wow.
Only a year in. We got hit by a tornado, and then we had those winds that knocked out our electricity for a couple of weeks. Everyone forgets about that now. Then we had COVID, and so like timelines have been pushed back. Right. But I mean, my whole goal is to, try and help out as much as possible, as long as they will have me.
An ideal first year, right?
Yeah. Ideal first year. Nothing's going on.
Right. Can you tell us a little bit about like just your campaign journey, like, and how that experience was running? Because I know you had worked on campaigns, right, but never been the candidate running. Yeah. And so how was that experience for you? Yeah,
it was very different. I mean, I had worked a couple of campaigns before, and then I'm working for the Democratic Party, and so I've always been around like political people, right, since college. And I decided in a choice. I sat down, and people had been telling me for a while, and I look over at my coworker, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do it, just because I wanted more. I wanted more for my community, and it was a decision of, am I gonna sit back and hope that someone who understands where the district is right now runs, or am I just going to go ahead and do it because my district's very sleepy, and we haven't been very active in many years. Right. So I decided to run, and we knocked 6,000-7,000 doors. We sent out mailers. We had several volunteers. It was very hard. It was very, very hard. You get faced with an identity crisis while you're at it. Right. Who am I? Who do they think I am? Right. I'm not Hispanic enough. I'm not American enough. Right. I'm a woman. Right. You're too young. Right. You get hit with all of it all at once, and you know, I had a.
How did you deal with all that? Like, how did you? What?
Sometimes it wasn't that great, you know.
Right,
to deal
right,
with that.
right.
You know, sometimes it was ugly, but then there were moments where people were like, "This is great. Like, we need more people who understand and that run." You know, I had to have a very strong base of friends. I wouldn't tell my family everything that was going on because I didn't want them to worry or have to hear about certain things.
Like what? Like what? What is like? Because I know, just because we've talked before, some of the, you know, the not so nice things that you know kind of happened during your campaign. But you know, I would like, you know, if you would want to share like those stories that you shared with me, like what some of the people that are listening and watching now, because I think it's crucial for people to really understand like what it took for you to be where you're at today, like and become, you know, the first, you know, Latina woman to be on the council of Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very hard for people who straddle two worlds.
Right.
Is what you could say.
Hi everyone, this is Councilwoman Sandra Sepulveda. Come check out Gino's East.
Like, I'm gonna tell you how monumental, like, I made this pizza. Like, so in Puerto Jimenez, where I lived in Costa Rica,
Yeah.
you know, they had this pizza place. And pizza being my favorite food ever in the whole world. I would go there and literally I would get like pepperoni and jalapenos, right? And so they eventually just changed the pizza name to the Jerome. Well, Jerome, right? The Jeromi in Spanish. And so, yeah, so I had my own like pizza in Puerto Jimenez because I would go there religiously and order the same thing. And then when you like the only American black guy, like
Yeah.
in this small pueblo, and like
They're gonna name
they're
it
gonna
after
name it
you.
after you, yeah.
Do you ever think about going back and visiting?
Oh, I'm thinking of going back and living, like,
Really?
like, and it, like, as you may know, like, it just is a lot of other places outside the United States that are just kind of like, you know, more accepting and see more of your value as a person of color.
Yeah.
And I just think the living is just a lot more simple. People are just more friendlier and have less. Like, and I just like the culture. You know, I just like the culture. I like the people's spirits.
I was talking to someone in Knoxville, and they were telling me their family is from the same place where my family's from in Mexico, and they were telling me that they wanted to move there and live there. They were, I think they were from here. I don't remember now, but they wanted to go back because they're like, you know, sometimes you just get tired and you want to be around people who are more accepting and more people that look and sound like you. And now I get it. Absolutely get it.
Like, and you don't know that if you don't like really have that bicultural experience or have that really you wouldn't know how like liberating and free and what that does for your mental health and physical health. Like, it just does a lot. We just eating some of this great pizza, right? We enjoying this pizza. Are you liking the pizza?
Yes,
Is it good?
it's really good.
And so I got thin crust this time, y'all. Y'all probably used to me doing the deep dish, but Sandra has the deep dish today. I have the thin crust. We have the exact same thing, just in different, like,
Different forms.
different forms. But you was gonna tell us about your, you know, some of the maybe not, you know, fonder moments of your campaign, and kind of some of the things that you experienced because of who you are, what you look like, your age, and all those things. Can you tell us about that?
I guess the most memorable one was when I was knocking on a door. Like I was saying, straddling two worlds is a lot.
Right.
And so I knocked on someone's door who is biracial. And she told me that she was voting for the other person. And I said, okay. But she wanted to hear more about the campaign. and she was like, they're going to eat you alive. You need to become a white woman's pet, because you're not white enough.
Wow.
And then she went on to tell me that how she had to learn how to speak more white to be accepted at work, but then she had people at church who were black that didn't accept her, and so she had to learn how to speak like them. And so she was going through her own,
Identity,
struggles.
yeah.
But it was so. It wasn't like it was things I've never heard.
Right, the code switching.
Yeah. It was just a reminder of what some people are going to think.
Right.
And, election night, I don't know who this was, but my brother and his girlfriend were working a poll site for me. She told me that someone drove by and said, F you, Mexicans.
Wow.
She laughed it off. It was things like that, and it wasn't only those things, but there have been other situations throughout the campaign. But it was there was more in my mind. There was more love than hate,
right?
And I have to believe that,
right.
Even though it's some of these things haven't gone away since I've been elected.
Wow,
right?
so you're still receiving some of that?
I get emails sometimes, right? And I don't think people understand. Some people are flat out racist,
right?
But there are also other people who don't understand that what they're saying to me is racist.
Right.
Like, especially during like one of our more controversial votes.
Right.
Having someone say, you betrayed your people and whatnot, and that person wasn't even Hispanic.
So what people are they talking about?
Hispanic people.
Wow.
You betrayed your people. They're not going to be able to afford this, and
right.
Just
those type of things.
It was stuff like that. Like sometimes things that you wouldn't say to me if I was a white male,
right.
or even a white woman,
right?
They end up saying to me,
right,
so
right.
It gets hard,
right?
But I know I'm not the only one that deals with this,
right?
I've had it hard,
right?
But we have council members like Councilwoman Suara, who's the first Muslim woman,
right?
Like I'm pretty sure she's had it harder,
right?
Other members of the minority caucus,
right?
We talk about things like this because we have to be a support system for our group, because we have great allies, but
right.
you don't understand until you're having to deal with that yourself,
right?
And so just having a support system that's reaffirming and
right.
saying, well, it's one person,
right?
Or I don't think they understand that what they said to you was
right.
this.
Right.
It's helpful. It's helpful. It's it's the downside to a lot of things.
Right.
But we have to keep going, and we have to keep doing the work.
Right.
Or who's going to be there for communities that haven't been heard in a while.
Right. And so that's, Like you're probably a better person than most in your response and like how to deal with that, because I would probably be trying to use my council member powers. It's like, let me track this person down. Let me see where they live and let me call in.
It's not like we can't look them up.
Right, exactly.
I'm
yeah.
not saying I haven't looked them up.
She's looking you all up. She has a list.
I'm just it helps me understand.
Right.
A little bit more. I think it's hard for some people who aren't used to change. Right. And this, the part of town that I represent has changed so much over the years, and it's constantly continuing to change.
Right.
And we have more and more immigrants coming. We have younger families who are moving to the area.
Right.
Sometimes people feel unheard or forgotten, and I have to remind them that I understand. I have lived here for over 20 years. I might be young, but it's not like I don't know what has happened over a certain period of time. But we have to welcome in our new neighbors and make sure that we're all succeeding.
Right, exactly. And so let's talk more about like District 30 and kind of like what you envision that looking like, during your tenure as a councilwoman for that district, and kind of the things you want to do and you want to change.
Yeah, I have so many dreams for it. I gotta. My team tells me I need to narrow it down, focus on getting those things done first.
Right.
Move from there. I want a park. Like, it's a simple yet not so simple thing.
Right.
My district, it doesn't have library, community center, park.
Right. Sidewalks.
Yeah, I want sidewalks. I want a park. I want a free place where children could go. Right. We have the elementary schools, and the elementary schools have tiny playgrounds, but it's a different thing having a park where a community could go and have a picnic. Play some ball. Work out. It builds community.
For sure.
My district is one of the most condensed districts. Our closest libraries are a ways away. And we are all, I think it's around 20 to 30% live at or below the poverty line. And so not everyone has a car. Public transportation hasn't been expanded enough in our area.
In Nashville in general.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find something that they're able to access easily. I bought 3 little libraries. Okay. I plan to have a fundraiser and build little libraries and put them all across the district and put books in multiple languages and stuff like that. If they can't get to a library quick enough, I'm going to make it as accessible as possible. And even parents who are able to drive their children to the library, in my community, it's a very working class community. So parents get home late sometimes and they're tired and they can't take their children all the time. So I want to make sure that we have books everywhere.
And I think that's important for us as Nashvillians to realize that every community is not made the same, right? Every community needs different things to be, effective and grow and, and have the same type of access, even if it's in a different way, right? And so that's important to notice, especially if you don't or never lived in that particular district. You probably wouldn't realize. You would probably think, oh, every community has a library or at least a park, right? Or these things that you think every community should just naturally have in the United States of America, right? Or in a city like Nashville, but that's not the case.
And I want more funding for schools. I went to public schools here. I had to share textbooks when I was in school. They're still sharing textbooks. They have photocopies of photocopies. And sometimes they run
Nashville
out of paper.
Public School. You gotta love it.
So it's simple things, sidewalks. better stormwater
Right.
drainage.
Right.
It's very simple, and these things could make a world of difference
Right.
in people's lives.
Question. Because I'm a real big advocate of, of community, and like, maybe we can figure out a way to do this ourselves, right? Is there a way if someone started like a park fund to get like a park built in District 30 somewhere? Is that something that is possible, doable with zoning? And I'm saying, I know money is like the biggest component of that, but if that was possible, could that work? I'm just not sure how that works with just parks and stuff.
Yeah. Well, we have people who like have private parks that open it up to the communities and
Right.
stuff like that.
Okay.
I have been working with a developer who's doing some work in the community, and they're gonna build a small pocket park.
Okay.
And they are going to open that up to the neighborhood right there.
Okay.
So
Okay.
at least that small neighborhood has a little place to
Right.
go to.
Right.
So I mean, there's
Right.
partnerships we could all do.
Right.
It is mainly, the maintenance of it and
Right.
public works
Upkeep.
having
Yeah.
to,
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I just think, again, I don't think many people may be aware of like the kind of the barriers that you have in District 30 compared to other districts, and some districts get highlighted more than others, and like you said, 20 maybe even 30% live at the poverty or underneath the poverty line. So it just those voices could not be heard a lot of times, and I think that's why it's very exciting and needed to have somebody like yourself at this particular time, being the council person for that district, because you have lived there over 20 years. You did go to the public schools. You did see the community like kind of in its ups and downward spirals like throughout the 20 years. And so to have somebody like you who's energized, who's young, who's a woman, and that's like ready to get things going, like, I think at some point in time, every community needs that person to kind of lead them into like a new era of change, right? And unfortunately, we live in America, but in the South, and change sometimes, like, for some reason, doesn't happen fast enough, or some people just don't want that and just want to stick to the old ways. But we need more trailblazers like yourself to make that happen. And like that's why I love like having persons like yourself on this platform, so people can really understand and know, especially people here in Nashville who may not be informed or misinformed on like things that are happening right here underneath their nose. And like I think there's a lot of people, if they knew more, they would help. And so hopefully, like if you're watching and listening, like that you will reach out to Sandra and like see what you can do, whether you live in District 30 or not, right? Like we all a community, we all are Nashvillians at some type of level. So yeah, like let's get District 30 to where they need to be in all the other districts. Like this basic things like sidewalks, right? I want to be able to walk and not get hit.
No.
Like, cause y'all have the intersection. It's like one of those intersections that like pedestrians could die. Like is it Wallace and what is that? Notice what is that?
Yeah, so we have Harding Nolensville,
right,
and then we have Wallace and Nolensville is also another site.
Right.
Apache and Haywood.
Right.
I mean, we've had fatalities. We've had quite a few fatalities. Right. I guess my goal is just trying to get the district in a better place.
Right.
Like I said, we're a sleepy district.
Right.
We're almost always on the low end of voter turnout.
Right.
My dream before the pandemic was to go door to door, registering people to vote. And
take the census and all those things. Yeah.
And for the people that were already registered, say, I'm your councilwoman, what's going on? Do you have any concerns? And just doing the whole district, taking a couple of blocks every month until I finish. Just simple stuff like that. It's tough when we notice other parts of town and other neighborhoods and how people are a little bit more organized.
Right.
And, my goal was to have quarterly meetings, and have it potluck style. We were able to do one,
Right.
and then the pandemic hit.
I bet that's an amazing
It
potluck.
was a great potluck.
And so I have to say, and we talked a little bit about this, like, so if if you're in Nashville right now, if you ever visited Nashville, I think District 30 like has to has like the most like far as like just multicultural like foods and like just taste of like of just everything of like just all across like the world in District 30. And so I'm gonna put you on the spot right now. I'm gonna put you on the spot. If you had to recommend anybody to go to, I'm gonna give you top 3. So I'm gonna make it flexible. The top 3 like restaurant establishments in District 30.
In District 30.
Specifically, what would they be? And no offense taken to anybody that's not mentioned. They're all great, but we just want the top 3 right now.
Okay. Las Cazuelas.
Las Cazuelas.
There's a taco truck. It's burnt like twice.
Well, I don't know if that's a good. It's
on fire.
Yeah, it's on fire.
They're rebuilding it right now, but it's on Nolensville. I think it's called Las Americas, if I'm not mistaken.
Just look for the ashes.
Yeah, it's right across from the Bank of America on Nolensville.
Okay.
It's the best taco truck.
It's on fire.
It's on fire. They're rebuilding. It'll be back. And Bangkokville.
Bangkokville.
Yeah.
What is is that food from Bangkok?
It's Thai.
Thailand,
Yeah.
Bangkok. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's pretty good.
Shout out to those 3.
Yeah.
That's Councilwoman Sandra's top 3. I'm putting it on there. Top 3 in District 30. So go eat there in the taco truck. You know.
Once it's back.
Once it's back,
once it's
bring your extinguisher, but also bring your appetite. 'Cause you don't know.
It's bomb.
Oh, okay. How can people reach out to you to learn just more about your district, or if they want to volunteer, intern, if, donate to a fundraiser, anything? How can people do that?
Always need interns. I have a lot of work. Always need interns. A lot of our projects have been on hold because of the pandemic.
Right.
So we're hoping to have those going
Right.
in the future. But volunteering and all of that, I would love volunteers. I am on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I have a website. You name a platform, I'm probably on it. My phone number, I give my cell phone number to everyone. It's 615-389-2795. You could also email me, sandra.sepulveda@nashville.gov. I have a lot of emails, but I'll get to them. Cell phone's the easiest way the fastest way. And sometimes you have to call me, as you well know.
As I know, you gotta be consistent. Yeah. She's very busy. She's trying to make our communities here in Nashville better. So it's just call her, keep calling her. She doesn't take offense to it.
People have to remind me. Those are the fastest ways to get in touch with me. I try and put updates on those platforms.
Perfect.
And I try to do bi-weekly newsletters. After a lot of this is over with, we're hitting the ground running. And so I would love help.
Anybody that's good in digital organizing, right? I think intern with Sandra. She's great. She's a great person, inside and out. I've enjoyed this, and this is just a snippet, right? This is not everything that she does or going to do. So I encourage everybody to reach out to Sandra and get to know her more. She loves pizza, so treat her to some pizza. But definitely just learn more about her story. And for anybody that's watching, it may be a first or in their families, right? Yeah. And this is a great example of what a first look like and be historical. And it just makes me happy. We share a lot in common, and as far as just being first. And I'm proud to say that I've actually been able to live and be immersed in Latin community, and different in Central America and South America. So we were just talking about making tamales and Shout out to all the tamale makers out there using those to raise money for whatever programs in the community. So this is great. I appreciate your time. We're gonna continue eating this pizza, and yes, you know, if you want some too, come on down to Gino's East in Nashville. Did you like the pizza? It was great. It was good.
It was good pizza.
It's top. Just add it to her list. Even though it's not District 30, you can add Gino's in the list, and you know, have a bonus top special for Gino's. All right, everybody, that's it. Sandra, thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah, see y'all next time, and we're gonna enjoy this pizza. Sorry you can't have any at this particular moment. So, all right, cool. Thank you. This was excellent.
Thank you. No, this was good.